January 31st, 2026. Superman Annual number 5, 1993. Bloodlines Outbreak Part 6. The issue unlike Superman number 77. There's Flight 77 on 9/11/2001. Was it the Pentagon? I think Flight 77 hit the Pentagon or one of the World Trade Center towers. Takes place during the reign of Superman issue. We saw Steel in Metropolis meeting Edge a few issues back. This story we have the Man of Tomorrow, the Cyborg Superman meeting Myriad with Luthor around, of course. His story opens up with a garbage truck at Metropolis landfill with the sanitation workers complaining about how Superman around the only thing good anymore is the overtime they earn working nights at the landfill waste management here in Dayton, Nevada, while they shoot at some rats in that area. March 15th, 2024. The Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, announced the appointment of Father Jeffrey S. Burwell. This is relevant to the article. As the next provincial of the Jesuits of Canada, this appointment is the culmination of a thoughtful, prayerful process of consultation and discernment, marking, mark of the beast, a significant milestone for the Canadian province. Arturo Marcelino Sosa Abascal, Society of Jesus, born November 12th, 1948. I was born November 12th, 1980. So it was William Francis Dunn IV, 2031, Lonnie Lane, Dayton, Nevada. Is a Venezuelan Catholic priest who has served as the 31st Superior General. The address for Stephen B. Rye in Yerington is his address is 31. Might be Main Street or something in Yerington. Of the Society of Jesus since 2016, he was elected by the Society's 36th General Congregation to succeed Adolfo Nicolas. He is the first person born in Latin America to lead the Jesuits. The same thing is said about Pope Francis. Etymology of Arturo. What does the name Arturo mean? The surname Arturo is an Italian patronymic surname that is, it was a name created from the first name of the father. Arturo is derived from the Breton given names Arthur and Arthur. This personal name is of very ancient origin and is derived from the Celtic word art, which means bear. The name Arthur is also related to the Greek Arcturus, which means bear or guardian, and is the name of the bright star in the constellation Boots. And Shayla C. Holmes, Class C felony, colluded with Stephen B. Rye, the district attorney, against me. That is bias. That is bias. Shayla C. Holmes is related to the people across the street. That's also favoritism. They have other words for that. Italian, that's corrupt. Corrupting the law is lawless. Italian surnames come in far more variations than the names. They're Lyon County Guardian. Shayla C. Holmes is Lyon County Guardian. Dude, that's a bogus title. Guardian is the name of the bright star in the constellation Boots. Regional traditions and dialects are a decisive factor in this characteristic. For example, northern names tend to end in O, while in southern in I. Also important but not unique to Italy was the fact that before I suspect that somebody put in a recording device in the roof of my bedroom, and there's an audio stream going to Julia Ann Bice across the street and Judge LORraine Matheus, and it's up in the ceiling of this room. It's weird. As soon as I open the front door at this house, a lot of times those people are opening up their door at the same time across the street, yelling things at me. Dude, hopefully the courts have something in here too. There's at least two microphones in here to cancel out their corrupt microphone. Things I'm saying in my bedroom is somehow getting back to Julia Ann Bice. And the thing is, Judge LORraine Matheus at the Fernley Courts has the same middle name as Julia Ann Bice across the street, LORraine Matheus. And Judge Camille Vecchiarelli recused this case out of bias and gave it to Judge LORraine Matheus, whatever, who has the same middle name as the plaintiff to begin with. That is definitely bias. They're more biased than Judge Camille. Was the fact that both dictionaries and the printing press, most scribes, so that means any codes I read out in my bedroom, they're getting it back somehow and using them against me. Like let's say bank accounts, you name it. The predictable result was they have their Christmas lights on their roof still. It's January 31st. The predictable result was an enormous number of spelling variations. The recorded spellings of Arturo include in others. Arcturus is a red giant star in the northern constellation of Bootes and the brightest star in the constellation. It has the Bayer designation of Bootes, which is Latinized Alpha Bootes, and abbreviated Alpha Boot. So while I'm being charged with stalking, these people had recording devices on me before. They're practicing irony. They have no respect for the law, but yet they want to use the law against me. And other people will do this to other people besides me. With an apparent visual magnitude of -0.5, it is the fourth brightest star in the night sky and the brightest in northern celestial hemisphere. Arcturus forms one corner of the spring triangle asterism. I suspected those people across the street whenever me and Susan leave, because Susan gave out a key to Myra in 2018 to this house. Myra made a copy and gave it to Julianne Bice, and they've been breaking in this room for years, planting false evidence, slamming the garbage cans with false evidence, and remoting into neighbors' computers for felony crime charges. If you say something they don't like, they call it, and now they got their miracle evidence, everything. Located relatively close at 36.7 light years from the sun. These are the people at 2030 Lonnie Lane doing this. Just breaking and doing whatever they want on people's properties and framing them for Class C felony. Shayla C. Holmes, Class C felony. Arcturus, that is, dude, they're committing felony crimes while accusing me of a felony. A spectral type, K153, an aging star around 7.1 billion years old that has used up its core hydrogen involved off the main sequence. It has about the same mass of the sun, but has expanded 25 times, around 170 times luminous. The traditional name, Arcturus, is Latinized from the ancient Greek Arcturus. It means guardian of the county, like Shayla C. Holmes, guardian of the bear. Ultimately, this is Arturo Sosa, the Superior General Society. Jesus is going to be retiring between 2026 and 2027. And Aros, Watcher Guardian, as Actpak also came to mean north. The name can also translate to guardian of the north. The designation of Arcturus as Bootes, Latinized Alpha Bootes, was made by Johann John Bayer in 1603. In 2016, the International Astronomical Unit organized a working group on star names to catalog and standardize proper names for stars. The WGSN's first bulletin of July 2016 included a table of the first two batches of names approved by the WGSN, which included Arcturus for Bootes. The beast, Koine Greek, Therion, may refer to one of the three beasts described in the book of Revelation. Revelation 12:3 describes these three beasts as follows. The dragon later revealed in the text to be Satan, the beast of the sea, commonly interpreted as the Antichrist. The beast of the earth, later revealed in the text to be a false prophet, the false prophet. LORraine Television, formerly LORraine Productions, Inc., and LORraine Distribution, commonly known as LORraine, was an American production company that was later a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. It was active from February 1st, 1969 until December 1st, 1993, when it was combined into Warner Brothers Television. The company was founded by Erwin Molaski, Merv Adelson, and Lee Rich. The brand was a portmanteau of the name of Merv's then wife, Lori, and Palomar Airport in San Diego. LORraine Bramblett Lane, did I miss your day? Happy birthday to Lori-Ann Matheus, Canal Justice Court, Department 1 Justice of the Peace, OurNevadaJudges.com. And this is a Facebook post. Wishing the Lori-Ann Matheus a happy birthday from LORraine to LORraine Bramblett Lane. Sion had not altered its plan to capture the French throne for the house of Lorraine. LORraine, to Judge Lori-Ann Matheus of the Fernley Courts. And they say it's a common name and it's a coincidence. And this is they're deflecting, they're corrupting justice at the Fernley Courts for this. LORraine, since its failure during the religious wars and met only with partial success under Weishaupt, the French Revolution did dethrone the Bourbons as Sion desired. The King of Jerusalem dynasty, however, was unable to ascend the French throne after the Revolution destroyed the monarchy. This intrigue with its counter-intrigue seemed to blend Rosicrucianism and Templarism. Hence, conspiracy researchers have not understood the dual conflict within the French Revolution, and they have missed France supported America during the American Revolution. This is what supported America's revolution to get the English out of the 13 colonies. Have not understood the dual conflict within the French Revolution. They have misconstrued the French Masonic conspiracy as a continuation of Adam Weishaupt's Illuminati plot. On the other hand, opponents of conspiracy theory view the Illuminati as non-existent after 1785, since in that year it was exposed by the Bavarian government and ordered to disband. What actually happened is not immediately apparent. Sion and the Temple, however, had other plans for Illuminati on another continent in the New World, which is the United States. Scarlet and the Beast by John Schlegelmill. Mar Aramaic noun meaning Lord. Daniel addresses the king as Mari. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, Mari, this is where the word came. My Lord, Pope Francis. Hebrew Adonai, used in speaking to the king in the Palestinian schools. Mari and Rabbi were customarily employed in addressing the sages. It is said of King Jehoshaphat that on seeing a scholar, he rose from his throne and saluted him with words, Abba, Rabbi, Mari, Mari. Jesus was addressed by his disciples as both Mari, as Rabbi, Comp, Kale Brock, Comp the case. Dude, you frame and you entrap your clients, Kale Brock Law. And he writes Comp on the December 16th charge arraignment. In conversation, Mari was used as a respectable form of address in Palestine. Mar in Babylonia, in the latter country, Mar became also a title preceding the name, and it was sometimes customary to call scholars Mar. If you and not Rab, particularly in the case of the two great contemporaries of Rab, Mar Samuel and Mar Ukba, when Abai was speaking of his uncle and teacher, Rabba Bar Association, Naamani, he merely said Mar without adding any name. When Tabiami, our Ashi's son, cited in the lecture sentences by his father, he did not refer to him by name, but said Abba Mari, my father, my lord. Etymology of duke or duck. The ancient Norman culture that was established in England after the conquest of 1066 produced the name of duke. It was given to a person who had a duck-like gait and bore some other resemblance to a duck. The surname Duke is derived from the Old English words of duck, duke, duck, doke, and duke, which all mean duck. However, these words are often squeezable, whatever. Oh God, I just woke up. From the various Old English words duck, duke, doke, which all came from the Old French word duck. This ultimately came from the Latin word dux, which means leader and is a derivative of the verb ducere, which means to lead. Merovius, 411 to 450, was the ancestor of the Merovingian dynasty and the grandfather of its founder, Clovis. He was reportedly a king of the Salian Franks, but records of his existence are mixed with the legend and myth. The most important written source, Gregory of Tours, recorded that Merovic was said to be descended from Clodio, a roughly contemporary Frankish warlord who pushed from the Silva. Jeremy Silva lives at 2027 Lonnie Lane, and I suspect he's been planting his own garbage into Joshua Swanwick's garbage can across the street. And Joshua Swanwick lives next door to Joshua Cox, who put a restraining order on me in the beginning of January 2024. Carbonaria in modern central Belgium, as far south as the Somme, north of Paris in modern-day France. His supposed descendants, the kings Childeric and Clovis, are first well-attested Merovingians. He may have been one of the several barbarian warlords and kings that joined forces with the Roman general Aetius against the Huns under Attila at the Battle of Catalonia Plains in Gaul in 451. The name Merovic is related to Marvik, famed fight. Compare modern Dutch Mer, news rumor, Vermaard, famous, as well as Gevecht, fight with. Mar Raphael Bidewid, April 17, 1922 to July 7, 2003, was the patriarch of the Chaldean Catholic Church from 1989 to 2003. He was also a Syriac scholar. Louis Prevost is the brother of Robert Francis Prevost. Pope Leo XIV from Chicago, Illinois, the American Pope who's fleecing America, is going to be retiring by 2028. And Cardinal Louis Raphael Sacco is going to be elected Pope at the Vatican. And that's what the Iraqi war and Desert Storm was all about, getting Saddam Hussein out of the way to get Cardinal Louis Sacco elected Pope at the Vatican, and he was in a feud with Pope John Paul II. And speaking of the Bloodlines DC comics, here we go. Wasn't able to get this into post. Bloodlines Outbreak 6. In Revelation 17:3-5, the Apostle John describes a vision which Reverend J.R. Church in the Guardians of the Grail believes is fulfilled in the Grail legend. The whore Babylon is holding in her hand a golden cup full of blasphemy. Church believes the cup blasphemy Holy Grail is the blasphemous Holy Grail. Another element of the Grail legend is the spear supposed to have pierced the side of Jesus, also known as the spear of Longinus or the spear of destiny. Whoever possesses the spear so the legend goes, will rule the world. And this is what inspired Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989. The Merovingians, whose descendants are the Habsburg pretenders to the Austrian throne today, are in possession of the spear. It is on display in the Habsburg Museum in Vienna, Austria. Take into consideration Bill Goldberg, the WCW wrestler, and the spear. No one, however, knows the location of the Holy Grail. At least no one is telling. Although heretical, this secret society should not be discounted for is alive and well today. In fact, in 1956, an order calling itself the Peoria Scion, Scion means John and Jean. Jean Malone across the street, and Susan Jean Laurie Dunn lives in this house and used to go into their hot tub across the street at 2030 Lonnie Lane. It's being very vindictive, saying that they would help me get a lawyer, and they haven't. Susan Jean Laurie Dunn. When there's text messaging Jackie, they're not text messaging directly. And I think Julianne buys text messages Jackie at 2033 Lonnie Lane, and Jackie relays text messages to Susan. Although heretical, this secret society should not be discounted for it is alive and well today. In fact, so they're trying to scapegoat me as something when, dude, I never went into the hot tub. So now they're going to lie about that, right? Susan's not going to say anything about going to the hot. See, they're out to just passively aggressive, what do they call it? Passive aggressive frame people. Calling himself the Peoria Scion or Peoria Scion, registered himself publicly for the first time with the French government. Yeah, I wonder if Nathan and DJ were in the hot tub when Susan, my mother, was in there with Jean Malone or Julia Bice. They're framing people. Those two are high school dropouts, by the way. Nathan Grove and Dwayne are high school dropouts or have been flaking a homeschool program and just going out in that front yard and thinking they're gods for having a restraining order on me, and I can't say anything back to them or else I go to jail. That is bias. Register yourself publicly for the first time with the French government. Scion is French for Zion. It is from this order the legend of the Holy Grail originated. This is about bloodlines. 5 centuries after Christ's death, Reverend Church remarks of this organization, this mysterious group is presently made up of over 9,000 men, including Protestants, Roman Catholics, Jews, and Muslims. The members of this secret sect should be considered unfaithful to their respective beliefs. So Susan's got pictures of Jesus Christ around, but look how they behave with their smartphone and their phone conversations and everything. I'm not doing this to get them in trouble law, to stop framing people. Stop enforcing on people. They're passive aggressive. They are neither Christian nor Catholic. They're neither Jew nor their doctrine. Sidesteps the basic tenets of those beliefs and replaces them with the teachings of the greatest prophet whom they believe to be Buddha. From this secret order, J.R. Church believes will come the Antichrist, for he writes their ultimate goal is world government. And Jacob Victor Rothschild or Nathaniel is associated with this. So is Prince Andrew. From this secret order, J.R. Church believes he will come the Antichrist, for he writes their ultimate goal is world government. Scarlet and the Beast by John Daniel. This is about the Bloodlines. Bloodlines Illuminati, the House of Stuart, Lorraine, and Bourbon. Bloodlines Outbreak, Part 6. Superman number 77 takes place during the reign. Flight 77. 9/11/2001. 9/11 Harvey Lane. 3rd District Court for arraignment. This is what hijacked the courts. Whatever did 9/11 has Yerington, 3rd Judicial Court in Yerington, Nevada, and Fernley Courts hijacked as well. It's January 31st, 2026, 12:01 p.m.